All right, guys, so just to show you quickly what the contact page looks like, we have our page header. Down here we have two columns. Well, this is going to have like the address and email contact stuff. And then we have a little form here with some inline fields, a message, a submit. And then we have this staff area where we're going to have these pictures of these stock images, these people and their names and position. So pretty simple, but again, pretty clean and, pretty nice looking. So let's open up VS Code, and I'm going to copy everything from, let's use services. So services is a good page to copy as a boilerplate. So we'll copy that, whoops. And we're going to create a new file called contact.html. We'll go ahead and paste that in. And let's go up to the top to the nav bar and change the active class to the contact link, or I should say contact li. All right, and then for the page header, we're just gonna say contact us, and then we can get rid of the whole services section and the FAQ section and keep the footer. All right, so we'll save that, and now we should be able to navigate to the contact page. Good. So let's start on the contact section. So we're going to have a section with the ID of contact. Oops, that's not the right character. So contact, we'll give it a class of py3, padding on the top and bottom. Put our container in, put our row in, and let's do, what we're going to do is a 4-column div on medium screens and up, and an 8-column div. Okay, so we want to do call-md-4, and that's where like the contact info is going to go. And then under that, we'll do call-md8, which is where the form will go. So inside the 4-column, let's put everything inside of a card, and let's also I also want to add some padding, so we're going to say P4. And then inside here we'll have our card body, and we'll have an H4, and we'll say get in touch. Then we'll have a paragraph with some dummy text. I'll say lorem 10. And then under that we'll have an H4 that'll say address. And we'll make up a fake address here. We'll say 550 Main Street, Boston, Mass. Let's do an H4, and we'll say email, and we'll just do test@test.com. Oops. Okay, and then underneath that we'll do an H4, and we'll say phone. And let's put a paragraph here. We'll just put a dummy phone number in, and that should do it. Okay, so if we save that and take a look, so that's what it should look like. Now on the other side, we want a contact form, and this is also going to be in a card. So let's say card. Let's also do padding 4. Then we want a card body, and inside here we're going to put an H3 with the class of text center, and we're going to say please fill out this form to contact us. Okay, and then under the H3 I'm just going to put a horizontal rule and then a row. So in this row we're going to split these top 4 fields into 2 columns, 2 6-column divs, I should say. So call dash MD dash 6, and yeah, let's do that. And then in here let's put a form dash group, and let's put an input with a class of form control, and then I'm just going to put a placeholder, and we'll say first name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy this whole call MD6 here, and we're going to put 3 more. So 1, 2, 3 more. And then this one will be the last name. This one will be the email, and this one will be the phone number. All right. And then underneath that, we're going to go under the row here and put another row. And we're going to have a 12 column row. So let's just do dot call. And let's see, in here we want to do pretty much the same thing, just a form group with, except we don't want to do an input, we want to do a text area. So I'll just change this to text area. Needs a closing tag. Placeholder, I'm just going to say message. And then we need a submit button. So I'm going to do the same thing, just grab a call. And you can do forms different ways. I mean, we don't have to use rows and columns and stuff, but that's just what I chose to do in this particular theme. There's no one way to do things, and a lot of people in web development, they think that like you should do something one way and that's it, but that's so far from the truth in programming. A lot of people just stick to their one way and they swear up and down that that's the correct way to do it. But you can be creative and you can try different things. You don't have to follow one way of doing things. And it's more relatable in actual programming, not just markup in HTML and CSS, but it is also relevant here too as well. So this is going to be a submit. Whoops, don't want to do that. Submit. And for the value, we'll say submit. And let's add a class of btn outline dash danger, and let's add btn block. Okay, so it goes all the way across. And let's save it and see if that comes out right, which it did not. And the reason it did not is because I used just call. So when I used call with these two, it just lined them up next to each other. So what we want to do is instead use call MD12, so it takes up the whole 12 on medium screens and up. Let's try that, and then it will stack below that. So now you can see that it works. And if I were to make this smaller, these columns will stack as well as the actual form. So let's, if I can grab this, so those will stack, and then if we scroll down, all the fields stack, and it looks nice. Okay, so now we just have to add our staff section. So now what we want to do is go under our last section. Let's say staff. We'll say section ID staff. And let's give it a class of padding top and bottom 5, text center, BG dark, and text white. All right, and I hope that as you guys are watching this, you're not saying, well, he's just typing classes in and not saying what they do. That's what the whole sandbox sections were for, is to show you what these do. So that's why I'm not telling you exactly what everything does. And in addition to that, it's pretty obvious. I mean, background dark, text white, text center, padding PY5, which I've said over and over is padding on the top and bottom. So that's why, I'm not explaining every single class in the projects. That was what the sandbox was for, was to really dig in and see what they do. All right, so in here, let's put a container. And I hope that didn't sound rude, by the way. So H1, let's say our staff. And let's put an HR here, and then we're going to put a row. Okay, so remember we have 4 staff members, so we're going to have 4 3-column divs that will stack under medium-sized screens. So for that we want call MD-3. Okay, and we'll have 4 of these. So inside here, let's put an image of the staff member. We're going to have a class of IMG fluid, and we also want it to be rounded, so we want rounded circle. And then let's do an MB margin bottom 2 as well. And the source is going to be in the image folder, and it's going to be person1.jpg. And then underneath the image is going to be the person's name. So this is going to be Jane Doe. And then, and then we want her position, which is going to go in a small tag. So she is the marketing manager. And then what we can do is just copy the image H4 in small, go to the next one, change this to person 2. We'll change the name here to Sarah Williams, and she is the business manager. And then for the next one, go ahead and paste that in. And this is going to be person 3. This is John Doe, Jane Doe's husband. And he is the CEO. Should have made Jane the CEO. And then paste this last one in. And let's say person 4, Steve Smith. And he is a web developer, which of course is the best job ever. All right, so let's save this and let's go and take a look. And there we go. So we have some nice staff images here. Let's go make sure that everything is responsive. It looks good. So under the form, you see the images stack. So everything looks pretty good. Blog looks good. Services. Yep. About us. Yeah, even the testimonials look really good. And then we already checked out the home page. All right, let's make sure the lightbox opens. Oh, good. Okay. Well, it does have scroll bars. I mean, you could add an overflow hidden if you wanted, or change the size in the media queries, but I'm okay with that. I'm just going to leave it. So that's going to be it, guys, for this project. Hopefully you enjoyed it. This probably is the longest one of the 5, just because it has so many pages and so many parts to it. We've used different scripts that aren't even part of Bootstrap. So that's it. In the next project, in the next section, we're going to build an admin UI to basically to like a CMS, or to it's like a blog CMS, like a WordPress admin type thing. Obviously much simpler than WordPress, but something like that, which I think is a little different than what we've been doing. All right, so I will see you in the next section.